Hey, Teacher Thoughts here coming at you with another video. So what we have before us is we have a verbena. We have an Endurascape red verbena. Now with your verbena, they're one of those plants that is really susceptible to plant pests. And this is a plant pest that I've covered before, but I've got a couple of new tools. So we'll try to see if we can work a little better with that to help train you for what you need to know as far as with this plant pest. Now, what I want you to do is, if you need to pause the video, if you need to zoom in, anything like that, I want you to look at this plant as is and tell me where the plant pest is and what plant pest is currently attacking this wonderful example of verbena. So I'm going to give you just a few moments to find that. Go ahead and pause the video now and search that plant. All right, time's up. Hopefully you had a chance to pause that video, zoom in, and see if you can identify it. Now, one of the first ways that we find out whether or not there is a plant pest currently attacking our plant is we can look at it from a distance and say, hey, is any part of this plant abnormal? Is anything not like the other? Does anything look a little weird? Is there a difference in color, a difference in structure, a difference in how that leaf has moved or twisted, or that stem moved or twisted? Are the leaves curled? Do they have like dead spots on them, color spots on them? Is there little sticky material on them? And if you've looked really, really, really close, I want you to look towards the left-hand side of that plant. So off to the left, there is one plant or branch of that plant that sticks out. And there are 6 leaves that are visible on this plant, on this left-hand side. So we're going to look right over here in this section. And look really close, because this plant is actually currently showing some signs and symptoms of a plant pest. Let's move this over so this centers up right there for you. Okay, so this plant pest, looking very close. Do you see it? Okay, so as we come in, right now, these are the last normal leaves, right? So this is our current bud right here. These are normal. The first sign that we have something wrong is you look right over here and there is a lighter color section on the leaf. So something has happened to this section of leaf that has caused that color to change. We can come over here and we can see some small spots where it's happening again. And then when we get down into this area, we can see that there's a lot of damage that has occurred on this plant. And right now, if you look super, super close, you can actually see one of these insects. There's actually 2 of them right next to each other in their early end star stage. And they are right there. Those little tiny sliver looking things right along that plant vein. And those are 2 thrips. So thrips are a sucking insect that feeds on the juices of the plant by inserting its feeding mouth parts into the tissue of the plant and then piercing it and sucking the juices out. And each time they do that, they kill the cells that are in that area, which is where we're seeing different spots where that tissue has died and has been damaged. But there's that thrip right there, still there in the center. So if you're looking at your verbena and you see nice healthy leaves, okay, over here like this, we're seeing nice healthy leaves, good leaf structure. Ooh, there's something possibly started right there, but not much. So the color's good. Maybe it's a little nitrogen deficient. But then we come over here and we're like, hey, wait a minute, there is something going on. Now, when you're in your greenhouse, I want you to look at your plants carefully at least once a week, because if you can catch things like this, I can go in and I can spot treat this and spot treat this plant and eliminate those pests when they're early before they have a chance to get through all of their end star stages and become adults. So this one I've pulled out from the rest of the plants. I saw that he has damage. Now this thrip, he either could have been a survivor from the last treatment that we did, or this last week we did have the ventilation fans open because we had some 80-degree temperatures here. Yes, in March we had 80-degree temperatures, and that will allow thrips to come in from the outside through our ventilation system and onto our plants. So what we're going to do is we'll remove him and we'll treat this plant, the whole thing, with a systemic spray, and that'll knock down these thrips and hopefully it will keep it from spreading. Now the other thing is I did get a magnifier for my other camera that I'm using, so I'm going to go ahead and try to come in here and get some close-up shots. However, I don't know how easy it's going to be, and I'm going to try not to move that pest when I do it. Now, the other thing I will warn you is I'm not able to splice that into this video. My editing software is not sophisticated at this point. It's pretty basic. If you watch most of my videos, they're taken in one shot, and we go with that. But anyway, what we're going to look at is we're going to remove this leaf. We're going to try to keep some of those pests on there and get a close-up of them. And we'll see how well that works. And they're pretty small right now. Let's see if we can get a ruler in there so that you can see a scale. So they're barely a millimeter long. So they are really, really tiny, which is why we generally look at the damage of the plant to find the pest rather than looking for the pest themselves. So once I see the damage, that's when I go through and I start looking for the pest. So he's, again, right there. All right, so I'll let this keep rolling and we'll try to shoot some video in here. I'll remove this. I'll place it down on the surface. Now both of those are in there. I'm going to try to line this up. Oh, and there we go. Gone in and killed that tissue. Now this is an early instar stage of a thrip. Oh, he's going to hide underneath. So that is where they've inserted their proboscis into the cuticle of the plant. And it's a sucking proboscis. There's some of their frass too, or droppings, that you can get for thrips. It is simply a contact spray, so it will kill the thrips. I hope you learned something today. Good thoughts towards my plants so we can get this next pest knocked down. And again, hope you learned something. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.